You all want to intimidate people from doing the right thing, and you think that you're going to intimidate me. But you see, I'm not Marjorie Taylor Greene. I ain't gonna quit in a month because somebody threatens me.
Did you hear what Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis said there? She goes, I'm not going to be intimidated like Marjorie Taylor Greene because you're threatening me. If you think you're going to make me quit, I ain't going to quit. So Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis attended a hearing that she was compelled to show up at within the Georgia State Senate. The MAGA Republicans on the Georgia State Senate wanted to bring Fani Willis there to attack her, to try to attack her credibility. But Fani Willis turned the tables on the MAGA Republicans in that Senate. I'm going to show you a portion of this hearing that took place last week. And by the way, I apologize for not bringing you this hearing last week. It was a few days ago when this hearing took place, the 17th, and I should have been covering it, but better late than never, because this is some explosive stuff right here, and I know you probably missed it. So here you have a MAGA Republican senator start to try to cross-examine Fani Willis, and she's just incredibly, pushes back and stands on business and says, what? First off, you're asking me pretty dumb questions here. She goes, that's a dumbass question you just asked me. But let me explain to you what went down. Where people commit crimes in this jurisdiction, where people are criminals in Fulton County, my job is to prosecute them. I would do it again. They're criminals. Trump's a criminal. The co-conspirators are criminals. And I'm not scared and I'm not intimidated by you. Here, watch this incredible clip right here. Let's play it.
When did you begin to consider whether to bring charges in response to the 2020 presidential election in Georgia?
Don't answer that. That's a deliberative privilege. Don't answer that. I instruct you not to answer.
Is it true that part of your transition team was involved in the process of interviewing people before you entered office to lead the investigation into the 2020 presidential election?
I'd like to answer that.
Go right ahead. You only take my advice sometimes anyway. Go ahead.
That's really an ignorant question. And if you understand what the word ignorant means, it means the lack of knowledge. If you recall the facts, I was already district attorney when this all came to light. So it's factually impossible.
You were district attorney when what came to light?
When Raffensperger went on Good Morning America or whatever show he went on. I was already district attorney. So what you ask is a factual impossibility. Now, I know they've gotten Black folks confused and said I was running for office, saying I was going to prosecute the president of the United States, but that's what we call a lie.
Okay. I would like
take
to
your advice from here on out, okay?
Yeah.
If you take a look at the screen for me, if you will. This is from Mr. Wade's deposition to members of Jim Jordan's committee. And it was asked of the search committee, you said that began when DA Willis took office on January 1, 2021. Is that correct? Yes. And there was outreach to you to be part of the search committee prior to January 1, 2021. Absolutely. When did that start? Sometime after the election, but prior to her taking office. Okay, so between the election, you're referring to November 2020 election. Is that correct? Yes, ma'am. And so when you had conversations with individuals, you said on multiple occasions, you said no, and you turned down the position. Who were those conversations with? They were with the district attorney.
So I think you're confusing facts. We've already had a long conversation about I interviewed everybody at the DA's office and I interviewed other people to come and work at the district attorney's office. And as I told you, I did that on my free time before I became DA. But I had no way of knowing that these criminals were going to commit a crime. And that did not come to light until January of 2021 when I'm actually the DA. So it is a factual impossibility, like I already told you. I think that is misinterpreted. He's absolutely correct. We looked for talent for the district attorney's office before I became the DA. I didn't wait till the day I took office to look for talent that would represent my office. But I was unable to look for talent for a case that didn't exist before I took office. It's factually impossible. It's common sense. You don't need to be a lawyer.
I'm going to read you some additional testimony. I'll try to put it on the
You
screen.
can read me as much as you want, but
I will. Thank you, Madam DA. And I apologize. I did not intend to have to get into this here. What was when Mr. Wade says that there was an interview on line 13, as you'll see here, this is prior to you entering office. What were you interviewing him for?
I didn't interview him prior to him entering office. He had a thriving law practice. Even when he ends up being offered the position, he doesn't want it.
Okay, now. So it's your testimony today that you and Mr. Wade did not have any conversations prior to you taking office relative to an investigation into the 2020 election.
Don't answer that. That is a deliberative privilege of what goes on in a district attorney's mind and the process that goes.
She wasn't district attorney.
She was.
Prior to being sworn in, she was district attorney?
No, she was not. But you asked.
So I'll return to my question. Prior to you being sworn in as district attorney, is it your testimony today that you did not have any conversation with Mr. Wade about investigating the 2020 election?
Do you want to answer?
It's a dumbass question.
I know it is, but go ahead and tell it because it occurred after she took office. But
I didn't know that he was going to commit a crime prior to me taking office. Like, factually, it's impossible.
Okay, thank you.
Then you can see right here that this is the longer clip where Fani Willis says that I'm not Marjorie Taylor Greene. And you can see that she just doesn't give a crap what these MAGA Republicans are trying to do. Watch as she goes scorched earth on State Senator MAGA Republican Greg DeLiesel, who's also running for lieutenant governor. Here, watch this.
You all want to intimidate people from doing the right thing, and you think that you're going to intimidate me. You all have been trying to intimidate me for 5 years, which is why I have not been able to live in my house for 5 years, because the N-word has been written on my house. Thousands of threats have come to my office. And instead of doing some legislation, when someone says something inflammatory that you know is going to cause them to be the victims of crime, you ought to do something about it. But you see, I'm not Marjorie Taylor Greene. I ain't going to quit in a month because somebody threatens me. I took an oath to do the right thing. People came into my community and committed a crime, and I indicted them. And rest assured, if someone else comes in my community and commits a crime, I will indict them again.
Now, here during testimony before the State Senate Committee, Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis then talked about why she took the election interference case. Here, play this clip.
Let me turn your mic on.
One final one, you kind of touched on it, and that was, at the end of the day, this case here, this conspiracy case that took place, why did you bring this case?
Because folks came in my jurisdiction and broke the law. And as elected officials, there are things that are precious and that are our responsibility. One, in a free society, is keeping people safe. Right? And I stand on the line, keeping people safe every single day. I have dedicated my entire career to making sure that people are safe and that they feel valued. Children feel valued, no matter who you are. See, I'm not like these people. I believe in diversity. I've sat on my floor and cried with little white children, black children, Spanish children, and I fight with my last breath to keep those people safe. But I have also prosecuted black people, white people, Asian people. It doesn't matter to me. It seems to matter to some. So I brought this case because they came in this jurisdiction and broke the law. And they didn't only break the law here, they broke it other places. Because the other thing that we have to do as a free society is we have to protect elections. It is important. If the people of this jurisdiction, the 19th, voted Senator Blake Tillery to be that senator, then I have to work to make sure that he is instilled into office. If someone does something, goes into a voting booth like they did in Coffee County, they do that. If they threaten workers, these little old people that work the polls, how dare somebody threaten them? And how dare you all not take that to be important? Is it not important because it was an older black female? It ought to be important to everybody. That's who you all are here to protect, those that cannot protect themselves. And I'm willing to stand on the line so y'all can keep threatening me, keep bringing me to these committees, keep auditing me, and I'm going to keep doing my job with excellence.
All right.
And here she says, I'm not afraid. I'll indict the guy again if I have to. Here, play this clip.
Trying to keep people safe, and y'all had me in here with this foolishness. I indicted them. I'm indict them again if they committed a crime in my jurisdiction. I don't care if you like it. It's not 1948. No, let me get to this. It's not 1948. I know that you're offended that it.
I didn't. So here's the question.
Audacity to indict rich white men, but I would do it again. But I would also fight with my last breath to see that they were protected.
Then you had a Democratic state senator here asking her some questions towards the end of the hearing. And I want you to watch as Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis just goes through what went down here. Let's play this clip right here.
Right now, just yesterday, a judge in Wisconsin said you're going to face charges, 11 charges, based on similar scheme that took place in Georgia.
No, and it should be noted that Roman was indicted in 3 separate states, and that many of the co-defendants were indicted in separate states because, you know, and let's be clear so the record is clear. In my indictment in Arizona, they indicted John Eastman, Gina Ellis, Ruben Giuliani, Mark Meadows, and Mike Roman. Mike Roman was represented by Merchant, who came here and testified. In Wisconsin, they also indicted Cheeseborough and Roman. And so, you know, we could go on and on about in the federal case had only one defendant, Donald Trump, but he was also indicted in my case. So these defendants committed crimes in our state and other states, you know, and there's all this talk about political enemies. Not one of these defendants do I consider to be my political enemy. I'm sorry that they think of me as an enemy. I guess they don't know that their job is to serve me, to work for me, to make life better for me and my family, but they are not my political enemy, and I actually pray for them because I see issues.
And also within Wisconsin, the quote-unquote fake electors there actually got sued. And the discovery in that case was over 577 pages. Now, you didn't get to the discovery process in your particular case, but I'm just curious because we were talking about Mr. Scandalakis and how deep he got into your case. How voluminous was your case at the time it stopped?
Huge, you know, much of this room it could fill up, if not all of this room. It was huge. It was lots of witnesses that had to do a lot of work was put into this because I always want to make sure that I am a fair DA, and that's why you see a grand jury recommending 39 people based on their conduct being indicted, and me cutting it down to 19 because I'm only going to put forth those with the worst evidence who did the worst things. But I'm also a fighter for victims, and I was fighting for the victims in this case. And the fact that, you know, to some prosecutors, Ruby Freeman and her daughter have no value. She has value to me, and she should have value to other Americans because what happened to her is horrible. And for someone to say they couldn't prosecute a defendant who came in a room and lied for the grand jury, I mean, a baby prosecutor could have prosecuted it, but, you know, that's neither here nor there.
And lastly, where we're talking about billing being correct or things of that nature, or critical mentions, does any of that change the impact? I think what these co-conspirators were doing, based on the indictment, that the ultimate goal was to overthrow the 2020 election.
That was the ultimate goal. And we've had people that are supposed to be leaders that instead of being leaders are just cowering down. This country needs leaders, not cowards.
I don't have anything else, Ms. Chair.
And here, Fani Willis goes back to that MAGA Republican state senator and goes, look, sir, I've told you, I don't trust you. I don't trust what you're saying. I don't trust the documents you're showing me. Here, play this clip.
The date that I have is January 24th of 2022. Does that seem like it's within the range of being the correct date?
So I already stated I don't trust you. I understand you're trying to run for lieutenant governor right now. Anything you want me to testify to, I'm going to need to see.
Okay. Were you aware that in between the time of the special grand jury being sworn in and receiving evidence, Mr. Wade traveled to Athens, Georgia to meet with officials from the White House counsel's office?
I don't recall.
On the right-hand side here is the meeting that I reference. The highlighted section reads, travel to Athens, conf with White House.
How does this
counsel.
assist you in developing laws for Georgia? Because I believe the purpose that I'm here for is because you all need assistance in doing your job, and you want assistance with rules and regulations around how people should be a prosecutor. And it made sense to me that you'd come to the best prosecutor in the state to ask for some advice. But I'm confused as to how this assists you and what the purpose of me being here is.
The committee has a broad purpose. I'd be happy to refer to counsel as to the overall purpose of the committee. But my question for you is, as it relates
I don't
to
think
this
it's
travel-
relevant, so I'm objecting on relevance.
She's asking answers. That she's told you that the TUI process goes through the White House counsel's office. She's asked, it's been asked and answered.
And it's your testimony today that the travel to Athens conference with the White House counsel, as far as you were aware, was due to a part of this TUI process that the governor's referencing.
I've testified. I don't recall anything about this.
Okay.
And I don't see how it's relevant to what your alleged purpose is. Now, your real purpose is to try to get elected, which I would say, Georgia, please, let's elect any lieutenant governor but this one.
There you have it, folks. I'm glad I could bring you that hearing because it was powerful and explosive. And, you know, we need more courageous people like Fani Willis out there. But you see how, though, the MAGA establishment tries to crush someone like that. And she's like, you think I'm scared of you at all? Love it. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million. Thanks for watching.
Love this video? Support independent media and unlock exclusive content, ad-free videos, and custom emojis by becoming a paid member of our YouTube channel today. You can also gift memberships to others. Let's keep growing together.